So, Al,
Yeah.
do you remember that time we went to Limerick?
Oh, that was a bit. When we went to the Lego thing,
When we went to the Lego thing?
that was about 2 years ago. That was before lockdown. That was before social distancing.
The before time. The long, long ago.
Everything was awesome.
Good morning, good evening, good night, and welcome to the inaugural first person shoot, a series where we bring in a guest and wax lyrical about their likes and dislikes in their particular field. And today's episode, we have a longtime friend of the channel and longtime gamer compatriot, DaveNoCheese to us, but Dave Heffernan to everybody else. So welcome, Dave. How are you?
Hello. Good. Thanks for having me.
Ah, yeah, anytime, man, anytime. So Dave, you love Lego. Let's just throw that one out there straight away. You love the Lego.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the background on how we all know each other.
So we actually went to school, me and yourself,
Mm.
although we were a couple of years apart. And then later, a few years after, we kind of met up through boards, a gaming clan there for Destiny. We kind of caught then that we knew each other already, and I think the rest is history.
The rest is history, indeed. So a couple of years ago, Al and myself ventured to a small part of Ireland that not many people have heard of, Limerick City. That's Limerick City. And
Quite much think about.
yeah, we went to an event that you had on. So tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, so that was our very first ever Lego event, BrickCon, BrickCon Limerick, and yeah, it was hugely successful, completely sold out. It was our first time ever running an event of any kind, so it was full of lots of firsts for us, but it was fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun.
I think
It was good to
we
see.
actually have a couple of pictures from there. I think there's a picture of Al and myself attending the event. There we go. Looking good, looking good. It was a good hair day for us there. Very good hair day for us there. So just to throw it out there, Dave, I guess the one thing to take away from this is that Lego is the inferior product. Mega Blocks and Mega Constructs are far, far superior.
Okay. I think this
no,
is over.
the jury is probably going to be out on that one. But no, I mean, there's a lot of counter, I suppose, well, not counter, but cross compatibility between Mega Blocks, Halo, and
yeah,
not Halo. No, just because I'm looking at Halo, but there's a lot of cross compatibility. Oh my god, between the likes of Mega Blocks and Lego and all the other ones, they all work together, which is really, really cool. But we'll come back to that. I want to talk to you first about some of the Lego community acronyms. Can you explain to me what an AFOL is?
AFOL.
AFOL.
And AFOL is an adult fan of Lego. So believe it or not, there is a huge following of Lego in the adult community. There's that's how I got into Lego, is through a Lego user group, which is basically mostly adults who are fans of Lego. But
right.
there's tons of different acronyms. There's AFOL, burp, snot, just the list goes on.
So just to pick up on that, what is a snot?
Snot is a studs not on top, so it's a technique of building. So it basically means you're building sideways so that the studs of the brick aren't on the top.
Okay, is that just an aesthetic choice, or is there?
Yeah, so it's like if you're building, say for instance, a spaceship, you could build it with the studs not on top technique, and therefore it gives kind of more sleek or smooth look.
Right.
rather than having the bricks exposed, the studs exposed.
And burp.
Big ugly rock piece. So
Okay.
Lego make these giant, pre-molded rock pieces, and they're just called big ugly rock pieces. Or burp.
Okay. Acronyms. Crazy acronyms. And what's MOC?
MOC, my own creation.
My own creation. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So that's when you take a bunch of parts and build them yourself. Build your own thing.
Custom, your own custom creation.
Okay.
So,
and your own mocks?
I'm not as big a mock builder as some other AFOs, but I have a few. There's two on top here. It's a Steampunk Millennium Falcon and a Rainbow Millennium Falcon. So they're effectively reskins of a Lego set alterations.
But you didn't have to open any loot boxes to get those.
No.
Okay. So or pay. There's no $5.99 fee to open a few packs to get those skins.
No.
No, I have actually seen that Rainbow Falcon before, and that is really sweet. I really do like that. Have you other variations of, Star Wars? Because I know you're a big Star Wars fan as well. So have you any other Star Wars builds planned?
Oh yeah, lots. Like mostly Falcons. I want to do Batman skin Falcons. So it'll be mostly black with a bit of highlights of yellow. I want to do Christmas Falcon. So I actually saw one recently, which was basically Santa's head, but it was a Millennium Falcon. Looked really cool. So some kind of variation of that. And we'll have a big collection of Falcons by the end of this.
Cool. And just keeping, I suppose, a little bit with the Star Wars theme, and jumping into, I suppose, my next question. Lego is expensive.
Yes.
And in particular, I suppose a lot of the big expensive items are franchise items. You have, Lego Star Wars, Lego Harry Potter. Yeah. Does the license fee that they have to pay, does that account for a percentage of the expense at the end consumer?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you could take a Lego own brand set, like a city set, and it could have 500 pieces and sell for €40. And then you look at a Star Wars set that has the same amount of pieces, but could sell for €70. There's a huge bump in the price. It's generally down to the figures and the actual licensing fee. The Star Wars figures are more sought after, so if a set has more figures, it's going to have a higher price as well.
What is the most expensive Star Wars Lego piece that you have?
The UCS Millennium Falcon. It's a big boy up there.
Right. And just as a rough idea, if one wanted to go and buy one of those right now today, what kind of money would they be expecting to spend?
You could get lucky. It retails for €800, which is a lot of money. Smiths have often done 20% off, so I think that's like $640.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, so you could buy from John Lewis in the UK. I think they've had it for £500. That's like 550 odd euro maybe. So you can get lucky and get it for a good chunk off. It's still a lot of money though.
But is the money that you invest, is that a worthy expense?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Lego has a great return in investment. I think Forbes actually did an article a couple of years ago that said Lego is a better investment than gold. So I think that says it all really.
Well, it probably doesn't lose its value. In fact, I can imagine something that might go out of print, for argument's sake, would hold value and probably rise over time.
Oh yeah, like the Millennium Falcon is a prime example. This is a new version of it. There was a version that came out in 2010 and it was on the market for 3 or 4 years. If you were to buy that now secondhand, like still sealed in the box, you're looking about €2,000, and it retailed I think for 500. So that's a huge markup.
Because I know myself now. When I was younger, I had a lot of Lego. I had a lot of Robin Hood, if you remember, the Sherwood Forest stuff, and I might actually. I had a piece that came from former Yugoslavia back in the late 80s or the 90s. which, you know, you take that stuff today and some of that is still in boxes in my attic. And if I go to Smith's and I buy, I don't even know what the stuff is now, but we'll say I buy the Hogwarts train or the whatever it is, I can take a piece from something that is 30 years old and it just clicks together with the piece that is from today. So I suppose what we're driving at there is that something from 40 years ago or 50 years ago or however old it is compatible with something that will be 50 years down the road because it's effectively timeless.
Yeah, exactly. It hasn't changed. Like, and we at our events we've had some people display older Lego sets, like from the 70s or 80s, and the bricks are the exact same as the ones that are from 2019 or whatever.
I suppose one of the things, the only things that have really changed, certainly from my childhood, is the accessories. So if you're talking about, the one thing I do remember is the Lego Spaceman, where you had just the helmet with no visor, just the single skin kind of small tin helmet that fits down over, like basically the image of the Lego man, the Lego Spaceman, that guy. You'd see him the whole time. And things like that have progressed over time, but the blocks, the foundation is effectively the same as it was.
Yeah, like since the early days, I think they only had maybe 20 or 30 different elements or something. I can't remember. I don't know, to choose from. In today, like, you have something like 5,000 different elements. So, but they're all still compatible with each other, and they all, like, with these new elements, you can, like, my business partner particularly, he can look at a single Lego element, and I see it as maybe a grass piece or a window piece. But he'll see it and he can see it as something completely different and use that to create these amazing creations. He's really talented like that.
And I guess to go back to a point that I was saying earlier on, all these pieces from not just Lego, but the likes of Mega Constructs or Creo or Nanoblock, Calibricks, they're all compatible with each other. They all fit together.
Yeah, for to a degree, they all fit together. But they shouldn't. That's sacrilegious.
But why is that? So I know that they all fit together, but why? What happened to allow these competitors to come into the market?
Well, Lego didn't actually invent the brick as we know it today. There was I can't remember the name of the company, but they created, it was called
Hillary Page. Hillary Page in the 40s.
There you go. It was known as the automatic binding brick.
Right.
So Lego copied it and made improvements, tweaked it, they refined it. So they did a lot of innovation, but it wasn't their initial design. So all these other makers out there, they were following off the original as well. So that's why a lot of the bricks are compatible. They all follow the same kind of format.
Right. But I suppose Lego are probably the biggest company.
Oh yeah.
For that style. Who would be the second? Who would be the next?
To be honest, I don't know. I actually don't delve into that world. I stick with Lego. I'm a purist.
You've never purchased or you've never used any off-brand bricks then?
I have purchased Mega Blocks, but not for myself. It was a Halo set for a friend. If I was going to be tempted myself, it would be the Halo line from Mega Block.
That is
purely because I'm a gamer and I love the game.
I have a lot of that. So the real temptation for me there was the minifigures. It's not so much the actual blocks. It's the minifigures are just they're more like the kind of minifigures that I would have grown up with. I suppose talking along the lines of your GI Joes and your masks and that kind of stuff. They just remind me more of that. That's why I like them. But this isn't about Mega Blocks. This is about Lego. So where did your love of the brick come from?
Oh, I love Lego since I was very young. Fun fact, I actually got held back in junior infants because I refused to do any schoolwork. All I did was play with Lego. So they actually had to hold me back because I didn't do any work. But like that, I play with Lego from dusk till dawn, all day, every day. I just love it so much. of course, then as I got older, I wouldn't say I fell out of love with it, but it got pushed aside and forgotten about. And then recently, maybe about 5 or so years ago, my girlfriend bought me a set for Christmas, a Batman set, and that kind of sparked the love again. And it spiraled out of control since then.
So what you're saying is you have a problem.
Oh yeah, well, I'm a Lego addict, 100%.
Yeah, well, sure. Look, come here. There's worse addictions to have.
It's true.
So your love of bricks obviously spurred you to do something more. So the idea for what was originally Limbrick City, how did you come up with it, and why?
So, like I said earlier, when I fell in love with Lego again, I searched different websites and I found this group called brick.ie, and they're a Lego user group. So they're actually officially recognized by the Lego group as essentially ambassadors for Lego. So I joined that group, and they hosted their own events throughout the country, small kind of free events in libraries, school classrooms, that kind of thing, where they'd have maybe 10 exhibitors and they'd have 5 tables of displays, and anyone could come see it. Very good, and some of them were for charity. So I met my current business partner at Brick.ie at one of the events, and we kind of hit it off from the get-go, became very friendly, and we were thinking about it. It's like, why don't we do our own event? Do it bigger, do it better, get more people involved. Get the Lego name out there more. So we did that test event then, which was BrickCon. That was our first event. So that was our kind of a test run, and that proved so successful that we said, okay, we have to do this legit. So we formed a company, Limbrick City, and went from there.
BrickCon was the one that the Grumpy Bros went to.
Yeah, that was the first event. So that was us just throwing it together. There was no contracts for it, and we were just doing it for the hell of doing it, and it was so successful that we're like, okay, we have to do it legit.
And obviously, you do these events yourselves, but do you have any collaborators, anybody that comes in and does stuff at the events with you or for you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, loads of collaborators. Like, we do all the main organizing and getting everything together, but without our collaborators, the event wouldn't be what it is. Like, we have the Limerick Autism Group have been a huge staple for most of our events. They're a local autism group that provides services to families with autism. And at our events, they do a sensory room or a sensory area, kind of a safe zone, so that kids with autism, if they're at the event and they're overwhelmed, they have the safe zone to retreat to and kind of take a break and relax, and then come back and enjoy the rest of the event. And they have volunteers on hand. We have Bricks for Kids. They do themed workshops. They're hugely invaluable to the events because you can play with Lego, you can build what you want, but when they have these structured workshops, it just adds that bit more as well. Kids actually have a challenge ahead of them. There's Ken from Strike a Pose. He does photography with a green screen, so he can impose Lego figurines with the kids. Like, they love that. All our exhibitors, face painters, everything. There's so many collaborators involved.
To touch back briefly, when we were there, we were very, very impressed with the arrangements that were made for kids who have sensory issues. The ear protectors were supplied, and there was a quiet area for anyone who needed it. Can you tell me how you put that in place?
Well, we knew of Keith, who's the co-founder of the Limerick Autism Group. So we kind of approached him and said, we want to do this event and we want to do it properly. Can you be involved, and what can you bring to it? And obviously help you out. So they were more than happy to be involved. So they're in doing this for years, so they know exactly what to do. So they set up sensory area. They knew what they needed, how it was function. So they provided everything for the sensory area. That was 100% them. In turn, after the event, then we made a donation directly to them for their services.
I think it's very. Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, any event we've had in Limerick, close to Limerick, we've got them involved because we just know we can rely on them and that their services are invaluable. So and each time then we've made a donation. So like they're just hugely beneficial to us and to the event.
What I was going to say was I think it's very striking. I think it's very important to point out that your events, and obviously we've only been to one, but we've seen pictures and everything of the subsequent ones that happened. The events that you put on are so inclusive that everybody, no matter what, whether it's sensory issues or anything else, can go and feel like they belong without any issues. And I think you need to be applauded for that. Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah, that's one of our main goals, is just to make it like Lego is so inclusive as it is. Anyone can play with Lego, whatever. Everyone loves Lego, and we just want to kind of spread that love as much as possible.
And I suppose going back a little bit again, getting that first event off the ground, what was that like?
It was it was tough. It was head wrecking, exhausting, but so rewarding as well. Like trying to find a venue, get all the exhibitors, find a suitable insurer, all those things like these things you don't think of, to get an event off the ground. And like I said, it was exhausting. But at the end of the day, once the event was over and we saw all the people come in and all the smiles, it was 100% worth it. Like that's why we said, okay, you kind of got a rush off it and like, okay, we need to do this again. We need to go bigger, better, keep it going.
And keep it going. You did. Is there an element of cosplay at the events?
Cosplay, I wouldn't say we have cosplayers, but we do cosplay, if that makes sense.
Right.
We touch base with Garrison. They're a cosplaying group here in Ireland. They have a lot of members up north, but they do have members all over the country, Dublin, Cork, etc. And they do a lot of charity work. Like they go to the likes of Dublin Comic Con and all that for charities. So we touched base with them, asked them if they'd like to come along, explained that we were doing the event for a charity, which was like that we're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, and to have them there would just be that little bit extra, and they were more than thrilled to be involved with us. So they actually sent a couple of members. They come in their own time. They're not getting anything out of it, only then supporting the charity. So I have to thank them again. They were hugely popular at the events. Kids get to see their favorite characters from Harry Potter, Star Wars, etc. It's brilliant.
And I suppose, look, what the cosplay that they do, Star Wars, Harry Potter, that all leads back into Lego sets that are available, which is always a
Yeah.
nice. So it's a nice little circle that goes there.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the way that you run the events, you seem to be able to bring a lot of things together in one place. How many events have you done now?
We've done 6 or 7 now already, and we had 3 that were supposed to take place this year, but they've all next year too. But we've attended lots of other events as well, where we've had a small Lego element, like different conventions. We were supposed to attend Comic-Con in Dublin this year, the Harry Potter con as well. That was supposed to take place this year. We're attending them, where we'd be providing small Lego displays, promoting ourselves, selling some Lego sets, in particular like Harry Potter sets, that kind of thing. So yeah, we've been busy.
Comic-Con would be massive, I think.
Yeah,
something I've always wanted to go to. Comic-Con, but I've never had the opportunity. So perhaps next year, if you do go, the Grumpy Bros will go and show us our support.
Like what we're actually going to be doing at DaveNoCon is quite unique. It's the first time doing it. We're going to be providing a chill out zone. So we have bean bags, cushions, blankets, and bricks. So you can spend a couple of hours going around the event, seeing all your vendors and stalls and whatnot, and then you can come to our chill out zone, sit down in a bean bag, play around with some bricks, just kind of take a break, chill out, and then go back to it.
So basically, all you need is a big box of bricks.
Yeah, exactly.
How successful have the events been?
Very successful. A couple of them have sold out completely, which just has blown our mind. Like you don't expect it. It's really welcome. But in general, yeah, they're very popular. We've always got good positive reviews from them. If they're not positive reviews, they're positive criticisms, how to improve it, etc. So it's just been hugely popular.
I think Lego will always be a draw. It's
Oh, yeah.
everywhere, no matter what shop you go into that sells toys, be it Smith's, Argos, Tesco, even. There's Lego sets on the
Yeah.
shelf. Kids see it everywhere, and it is timeless, and it is always going to be a draw. So that, I think, goes a long way towards, I suppose, bringing the crowd to you, but also you do a good portion of promotion online. I see your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts. I see those when they happen, and
Good.
there's a lot to be said for the promotion that you do. So again, you need to be commended for that. But I guess the one thing that strikes me is that you were called Limerick City,
Yeah.
and now you're not.
No.
So
when after the first event, when we realized, okay, we need to take this seriously, we formed a company, Limerick City, because we were both from Limerick. Well, we're both living in Limerick, so Limerick City just seemed apt. But it's very localized. Like, it's not a national brand. So we said, okay, we need to rebrand, come up with a more nationally recognized name, and get ourselves out there more. So Shamrock Bricks, that's where that came from.
And who came up with the name?
It was a collab idea, like, or the Eric, literally just pinging ideas off each other, going back and forth, settling on this name. Then no, we can go with this, back and forth all the time. So I'm not sure exactly who came up. It's me.
Okay, well, we'll let you claim the credit there. I suppose to more somber thoughts now. Any major difficulties for the brand during COVID?
Yeah, as I said, we had 3 events. I think the first one was supposed to be in March, but of course COVID happened and the world went to crap. So we had to postpone them. We postponed them to later in this year, thinking that this would be behind us, but obviously it hasn't. So we've had to reschedule it again. So they're happening now next April. So that's kind of the biggest hit, is because the events are hugely successful for us, and not being able to put them on has been a bit depressing.
And I suppose when you come out of, or when we all come out the other side of this pandemic, do you think you'll have to make changes to the way you run the events?
Oh yeah, 100%. The way the events are now, there won't be feasible in a COVID environment. Like, we have one of the huge draws to the event is the free play area. So we just have boxes upon boxes upon boxes of Lego on tables, on play mats throughout the event. People can just sit down, relax, build away, make their own creations, get involved with the whole family, etc. In a COVID environment, that's just not possible. We'd have to take the bricks away after one person has played with them, sanitize them, put them back out. So that's going to be a huge challenge for us, is trying to figure out a way to get around that, to make it safe for everyone. That's going to be the key thing, is making the event safe.
And we
There's no point putting the event on if it's not going to be safe.
No, we all hope for a time that things like that won't be necessary. But have you any innovative plans or ideas for things during this pandemic, or until it starts to, I suppose, die down or ease off?
Yeah, like the events, as I said, they were earner, and they were the most successful things. So we've had to come up with lots of ideas to kind of keep the cash flow in, so that we can put on more events once this is all behind us. Our Lego play table have been hugely popular. I think mostly because a lot of kids were stuck at home playing with their Lego. So the play tables actually build on and store all their bricks. They were hugely popular. We are constantly coming up with ideas. We are doing Lego LED lamps. You can see a kind of a test one here.
Yep.
We are doing a calendar for 20. I actually just got them in the post today. Here's a little sneak preview for you. We'll give you August. So they have a Lego image on each page, as well as the standard information, and a Lego fact on each page, a unique Lego fact. So I love them, and hopefully they're going to be popular once we list them up on the website.
The lamps, are they an acrylic lamp? Is the
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's an LED base with an acrylic lamp. That was just a test one. It was quite expensive, so we're trying to do it so that we can get the price down. Like, we want to make everything, like, we're not in it to make a profit. We're just like, any money we make usually goes. So we're trying to bring the price of that down, more affordable. So that's the goal.
Post COVID, what are the plans for Shamrock Bricks?
Just get our events back on track. Try to get events out there as much as possible. Continue to grow our brand. Just, make it a more nationally recognized brand, maybe even internationally. There's lots of Lego events on. Would like to attend and promote ourselves over there as well. Just as they spread Lego as much as possible.
Spread the Lego love.
Exactly.
Speaking of the Lego love, the charities that Shamrock Bricks champions and supports, can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so I've touched a bit on Lego already. The autism group, they've been hugely invaluable to us. There's also a UK-based charity called Fairy Bricks, and they have one simple goal: bring Lego sets to children in hospital. Simple as. So they make huge donations to sets, various hospitals across the UK, Ireland, Portugal, most of Europe, even America. They've had some donations over there. So any money they get, they just literally buy sets directly from Lego in bulk and go to hospitals, give it to kids. Kids get to play with Lego while they're in hospital. It's not as bad a time as possible. We're also going to do an event with the full profits going to Jack and Jill. That was scheduled for this year, has been postponed till next year. Jack and Jill are close to my own heart. I lost 2 nieces, but the Jack and Jill Foundation, they supported them through the whole time. Like, they were invaluable for my sister and my brother-in-law. And they actually have it. They take Lego donations, they sell that in their own stores, and all the money raised from that then goes back into giving care to sick kids and the families. So I was really excited for that. Unfortunately, we had to postpone it, but we will make it bigger and better next year.
We will. We'll look forward to that, Dave. I suppose we'll move on to a little bit of a quick fire round now. So, fingers on buzzers, please. What's your favorite Lego set?
That's a tough one. There's lots of good Lego sets there. I'd say the UCS Millennium Falcon. That's probably one of my favorites. It's just the sheer size and detailing on it. It's just amazing. Honorable mentions then would be the dinosaur fossils, which you can see on screen there, and the NASA Saturn V rocket. Just, they're excellent display pieces. I actually have the Saturn V beside my TV on my TV cabinet, and the dinosaur fossils are on my mantelpiece. They're just excellent.
What was your... Go on.
I was just saying, I actually have Lego in every room of the house,
every room,
except the kitchen.
I have PC parts in every room of the house, including the kitchen. Unfortunately, drawers and presses and everything. What would you say was your most difficult or most challenging build to date?
I wouldn't say probably the most challenging was the UCS Falcon. Just in stuff like the size of it, it's absolutely huge. Like, I don't know if you can get the size, like the sheer size of it from that, and the detailing on it, like, it's lots of small tiny pieces, and then due to its size, it's so heavy as well, so actually moving it around and displaying it is tough as well. But like Lego, like, there are lots of Lego sets out there that are labeled 18 plus, that kind of thing. They're not that difficult. Like, kids as young as 4 or 5 already have to build them. Lego, if you got a handle for it, like Lego's not that difficult. It can be a bit tricky or finicky, but not difficult.
When I was younger, I used to take parts and build robots, basically, like walker
Yeah.
robots, like the bad guy from RoboCop, that robot type thing, the little walker guys. So yeah, look,
And they actually-
it is one of those things that if you have a mind for it, or if you can pick up the mind for it, you can pretty much, the only limit is your imagination.
Exactly, yeah. And Lego actually have a team called Mindstorms. So they're actually basically robotics. So you can get the parts, and it has a central hub or a mind, and you build your creation around that, and that actually allows you to control it via an app. So you can make it do different tasks. Everything like Lego's come on a long way since the 1950s.
Could you build a Lego Hoover?
Possibly. People have made all sorts of things. One of my favorite ones, paper airplane maker. So it loads, you load it up with A4 sheets, it sucks it in and folds it through a mechanism and then shoots it off, and it actually flies.
Wow.
Like, people are just ingenious when it comes to Lego.
I actually saw one time a guy made, so there was some game where you just had to repeatedly press A to do something. He made a Lego controlled claw that just pressed A every
Yeah.
few seconds and just continued to do that. So again, it's like we say, the only limit is your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
So from your most challenging to your least favorite, what's the worst build for you?
There's a couple of builds. The giant roller coaster. It's a great build. It's really cool once it's running, but it's so boring and repetitive. You're effectively, like, I don't know, picture there. It's got giant white stacks, and you're basically just stacking white bricks on top of each other, building up columns, and you do like 20 or 30 of those, and it's just very, very boring. So that's probably my least favorite build. It's probably very rewarding at the end, but yeah, it's boring.
Oh, it looks very impressive. We saw that in person at the BrickCon, and it was very impressive, just the sheer scale.
Yeah.
The build you're most proud of?
My own creation, probably my Nina Castle. That was my first ever creation. So when I joined Brick.ie, I saw all the amazing things people were building, and I was like, I want to do that as well. So I thought, what could I build? What would be, for my first time, what would be the easiest option to approach? And being from Nina originally, I was like, Nina Castle, that's a no-brainer. And it actually came together quite well. Once I got all the parts together, I'm surprised how easy it was to put together. But it's just, I'm quite happy with the features and how well it resembles the actual castle. So I'm quite proud of that.
Just when you went to build that, did you have all the necessary pieces, or did you have to source more pieces?
Oh, I had to source all the parts.
All the parts?
Yeah. So there are websites like Bricklink where you can basically, you have third-party sellers and they have bulk lots of Lego and they list it on this site and you can purchase directly from them. So they're all over the world. That's most people buy their, if they're making their own creations, that's how they get their Lego. All their different required bricks, because like one seller might have 2,000 of this one particular brick that you need, so you can just buy it all from him.
Would you care to allocate a time spent building that?
It was probably 5 or 6 hours over a couple of evenings. So it's effectively looking at pictures, kind of getting an idea of the size I wanted, the diameter of the tower, trying different techniques. Once you had that down, then actually just hammering it out. But it was over a couple of evenings, so I'd say 5 or 6 hours.
And did you built that from a picture? You didn't sit down and design a brick by brick plan. You just lashed into
just
it.
Looked at pictures. The guy had a video of the castle. He kind of looked at pictures and that. and just kind of visualized it, and like kind of the likes of windows and doorways I based off the size of a minifigure. A minifigure scale wise is about 6 foot tall if he was a human, so I just kind of used that as for the castle.
The most impressive build you've ever seen?
Most impressive build, probably the escaping from Mos Eisley. So someone took the UCS Falcon, just a standard ship as it was, built a huge scale version of Mos Eisley, and then had them in Falcon fleeing from Mos Eisley, including the blue flames coming from it. It's on screen. It's so impressive. It's got a metal rod in the blue bricks that you can't actually see. That's what's supporting the Falcon, but it's just the technique, and it's just so striking. Like, you can't help but look at it and awe. It's amazing.
If somebody wanted to display that at a show, does that break down into 4 or 5 pieces to carry, or how does that work?
That particular one, yeah, I think he can break that down into sections. So generally, people who are doing huge displays like that, they'll build on 48 by 48 base. They're the biggest base plate you can get, and they'll generally have those sections in sections so that they can pull that out, box it up, pull out the next section. So that could actually be possibly 20 to 30 different sections that he has to take apart for that.
It's very impressive. Very impressive
Yeah.
build. You're a gamer.
I am.
In your spare time. Well, in some of your spare time. What's your favorite Lego video game?
Despite the fact that I'm a gamer, and despite the fact that I love Lego, I've never actually played any of the Lego games. I've touched a bit with the Dimensions. We had a Dimensions at one of our events, so we had an Xbox console monitor and kids could play with Dimensions. So I've kind of played a little bit of that, but I've never actually committed to a Lego game.
You're missing out. Lego Star Wars was very impressive. Worth looking at. You are a self-proclaimed, and I want to get this right, AFOL?
AFOL, yeah.
AFOL, okay. Have you any advice for anybody of the adult genre who would like to, or the adult demographic even, who would like to start building?
As we've said, Lego is expensive, and if you start now, you will get addicted, and you will want more and more and more. So you need lots of money and lots of space. Like, there's no point buying the Lego if you can't display it. So space is a key issue.
I suppose the ability to hide how much you spend from your other half would not go astray.
Oh,
either.
yeah. Not that, yeah. Don't tell them half of it.
Don't tell them a quarter. Have you any advice for any adults who maybe want to get their kids started?
Definitely do it. Like, if a kid wants, like you said, buy it for them. Like, it's such a great tool. Like, it's fun, first and foremost, but it's actually a great learning tool. It's really good for hand-eye coordination. It's good for building muscle memory. Like, it's like they use in schools now. That's how great it is. Also, like, if a kid is after a particular set and you can afford it, buy it for them. Like, there were so many sets when I was growing up that we couldn't afford, that I wanted, that I wish I had. Like, they if I still had those now, they would be worth a lot. Not even to me. I know my friend, he was in a better position than me, and he had a lot of sets he wanted, including the Black Seas Barracuda. And it's just, even today, like, it's an amazing setup. I'm pretty sure he still has it in his attic. I've been trying to get it off him. So yeah, just if
I was going to say, with little success, it would seem.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
If I was on Google and I put in Lego Ireland and I saw a link for shamrockbricks.com,
yes,
why should I click on it?
Because we have lots of great products on the site. We have lots of great info on Lego. It is a new site. We only launched the website this month when we rebranded. So we are adding more features. We are going to be promoting Lego. We are going to have Lego news, Lego facts, that kind of information available. So it's just going to be kind of your one-stop shop for Lego. So that's why you should click on it.
Okay. All right. Well, Dave, thank you for coming on and agreeing to speak with us.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. Aside from shamrockbricks.com, where can we find Shamrock Bricks?
Facebook, /bricks, Instagram.com/shamrockbricks. We share lots of random Lego memes, funny images, and ourselves there and all that kind of thing. Yeah, mostly Facebook and our website. And if you have any Lego questions, no matter what it is, send us a message. We're more than happy to help you. Like, we've had lots of people saying, looking for a particular set that we might necessarily have ourselves, but we know where they're to get them in stock or how to get them from third parties. So we've helped a lot of people that way, especially with retired sets.
You know a guy who knows a guy.
Exactly.
And so a resource for anybody that might be looking for something maybe they had from their childhood would be to contact Shamrock Bricks. If they don't have it or can't have easy access to it, they'll direct you or find a direction for you to get
exactly.
it. Yeah. Do everything they can to do that, obviously.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
We just want to spread Lego as much as possible. So if someone's looking for a particular set that we don't have or that's retired for 20 years, someone in the world has it, and there are means to find those people. So we'll help.
Okay. So again, thanks very much to Dave from Shamrock Bricks for coming on and speaking to us today. A link to shamrockbricks.com will be in the description. Also links to Limerick Autism Group, Jack and Jill Foundation, and Fairy Bricks. If you want to go and check those out and support those guys, they're doing wonderful work. Great work, terrific work. So again, thanks very much. We are the Grumpy Bros, and this was First Person Shoot, and we'll be back soon with another special guest.